Hello, my name is Steve Fleming, and this is our project. Hello, we are Rowdy Rankings, a group composed of Gavin Wilson, Owen Zhang, Reem Salem, and Steve Fleming. Our idea was speedrunning. Currently, speedrunning is something that's looked at internationally. People from all over the world add their times into a website so they can compare them there. We wanted to bring that to a local level so that way people in a smaller community can show each other their times and participate in speedrunning amongst themselves or like a bigger group, say for example, like a club at a high school or at a college. The data that we use is pretty standard. We have user data, like a username, user ID, game data, such as the title of the video game, the year. We also have categories that are linked directly to each game, and each game can have multiple categories. And then the run data, which is linked to a runner. And then there is data that has to go with the run, such as the time and all that kind of stuff. We have 7 tables. Our first primary table is going to be profile, which has a major connection with the profile status table. The profile status table is used to determine if there is a specific status for a player on a game. So like if they're banned from a game or if they're a moderator for a game, they can verify runs. And then our second primary table is our game table, which is for all the game data. We have category and policy table directly related to that. Category is which speedrun category for each game, and then the policy determines what kind of information is captured for the category. And then we've got our run table, which is connected to both our profile and game table, and then the run data table, which stores all of the information for the run, so the policy information, and then the actual value. So if it was a any time run, it would contain the actual time for that run. Now let's take a look at some of our commands. Each of these commands is going to come from an individual of our group. And so we'll look at the first one here. It is a basic select SQL command. It just shows some very generic data from the run table. It shows all of the values that we would be using for the table. It's nothing particularly special, but it does show that we can pull specific data from each table. Next, we'll take a look at a command that will pull all of the world records for all of the games in our database. And so you can see here, 1 through 9, Super Mario 64 through Trackmania Nations Forever, individual world records for each of those categories. Currently, we've only got one category for each game, just as sort of a proof of concept. But this is useful because we can just straight up show all of the relevant information for each game, which is going to be, of course, our world record runs for the categories. Our next script, there are going to be 2 triggers. There's a trigger to create a default category. So for each game that can be speedrun, there is a generic sort of default category that is called the any % speedrun. This is just how fast can you complete the game from the beginning of the game to the beginning of the end credits, and as quickly as you can. So whenever a new game is added into the database, it will just automatically create the any % default category. And then if we have to, for whatever reason, delete a game, if there's issues tracking it or if it's not very popular, when it's removed, we have a trigger here that will delete all of the categories for that game just automatically. Really helps with maintenance in the long run. And then our final script will total all of the runs for a specific game. And what this is very useful for is it shows popularity. So if we were seeing that, like one game wasn't very popular, maybe we could have a competition for that game over like a short 2-week time frame. Or if we see that one game is incredibly popular, we can give some, maybe some shout outs or praise to the leaders of that particular game. And so that is our project, Rowdy Rankings. Again, it's taking the international speedrunning into a local, smaller community, so that way we can just compete within that community. We left a few things in that were based off of our inspiration, which would, being speedrun.com. But again, this is meant to be a community-driven thing used in a high school or even a college campus. If there's anyone who's interested in it, they would sign up, add their names, and start recording times. Thank you, and have a nice rest of your day.